Hey guys, Chester Westerford here again with this week's Bad Batch review. As usual, spoilers follow, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, don't watch this review. But if you have watched this episode, then you know just how utterly brilliant it was. Or if you didn't like it, then well, you're just wrong. Just kidding. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even if it is entirely wrong. Seriously though, this was another really great episode. Picking up right where we left off with the ship in hyperspace, the batch then arrive at Tantus, and as several characters have said in the past, this is where the fun begins. Their arrival has not gone undetected, however, and they are shot down into the jungle. And there were so many good moments in this episode, like Echo stealing the droid's hand, Rampart leading back on that beast, waking it up. But the one I loved the most, one of the ones I loved the most anyway, was when the kids heard the fight starting, the dog fight, and Omega says, "My brothers have found me." That part was delivered so well. So many the lines in the show are just delivered well. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. Yeah, that's one thing I've always loved about this show. The family dynamic between the clones, like they're her brothers. That was something in the Clone Wars too, but since the clones weren't really always the main focus of that show, I feel like it's even more focused on here, and I love it. Yeah, I love how them coming brings her into action as well, taking the opportunity to explore and discover the Zilla Beast. Finally! I know that is something fans have been wondering about. I have to admit, when fans started discussing it at the beginning of this season, I had to do a quick search to remind myself exactly what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, that thing. It's been a while since I watched the Clone Wars, guys, or that one episode of the Bad Batch, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'll be curious to see how Omega plans to use it to accomplish her goals. Is she gonna let it out, and is it gonna rampage through Tantus? That would be kind of cool, I have to admit. And it'll be interesting to see how the kids fit into it. She's gonna have to teach them a few things about, how to survive, how to get out of this situation. Oh, and Emery, how is her story going to end? I loved that moment between her and Echo. It was such a great moment when he turns to go and she just addresses him by name, calls him. Yeah, like I said, there are so many moments in this season which I feel like a lot of this rivals live action stuff. Like, why can't all the live action stuff be this good? While I'm not convinced Emery is totally against the Empire yet, I do believe she wants to see the children escape. How far she'll go beyond that? Will she help them get the clones out? That remains to be seen. I hope Hemlock doesn't get to her again, but I hope she turns around. But moving to the jungle and the Bad Batch, I really like the dynamic between the Batch and Rampart. Just kind of refreshing that he hasn't having this big redemption arc, as we see that so much in Star Wars. Nothing wrong with it, it's just refreshing to have a change. He seems like he's just going to remain a jerk, and he's probably going to do whatever he can to try and help the Empire against the Batch in order to try and get back into good graces with the Empire. Probably not going to happen, but he's going to try. Or maybe it will happen. Maybe it'll happen and he'll die, who knows. Yeah, but I will say, though, one thing about that. I'm a little frightened by his conversation with Crosshair about his view that, he's out for himself, and so is Crosshair. Crosshair can't change. Not that I think Crosshair hasn't changed. He has changed a lot. He is there for Omega right now. But I feel like I'm afraid they're setting him up to prove to everyone just how untrue Rampart is by committing the ultimate sacrifice, giving his life for the others. I just want everyone to make it out alive. I doubt it's going to happen, but can't it just happen this once? Does every show have to have a tragic ending? I mean, I guess Rebels kind of had a hopeful ending. Clone Wars had a tragic ending, but it had to. That was the way the story went. And maybe it'll have a happy ending. Everyone's assuming it's going to have a sad ending, but you never know. No. I think it's mainly because we don't see these clones in the original trilogy and in future eras, but you never know. We'll see. And I can't believe we only have one episode left to find out. That is just so weird. I feel like this show has gone by so quick. It's sad, but, it's also a little exciting because I do look forward to finding out how it all ends. And, yeah. I'll be here next week, one final time, to review the final episode of The Bad Batch. Really enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you guys thought. And see you next time. Bye-bye.